to both of those questions. So after submitting, after you submitted your membership, you submitted it to the website, we will mail you a guide to the benefit. EDD will mail you a guide to your benefits and an official notice of unemployment award. So be sure to read all those materials carefully. EDD may also require for you to have an interview. So make sure that the contact information that you provide EDD is the most up-to-date contact information for you. So we'll review unemployment benefits. You will receive unemployment benefits automatically on a Bank of America prepaid debit card, and the EDD no longer issues paper checks. And you can also direct deposit that amount into your bank once you get the card. So just make sure to look out for your in your mail for the card. You're able to set up transfers once you have that card with you. So we've covered, again, a lot of information today, but we wanted to also give you some tips on employment benefits. So pay attention to deadlines and file all your forms in a timely manner. Any delay in your paperwork or online filing will delay your benefits, and all appeals have strict deadlines for the administrative judge to follow. So file your unemployment claim the last day of your last class of the semester, or the date that is listed on your appointment letter, whichever is the last one. So if you have any classes in the CSU system, from my understanding, it's the last day of the actual semester, not the last day of finals. And Keith and Inez will let us know if it's the last day here of finals or if it's the last day of the semester. We'll do that in the Q&A. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
It's tomorrow, yeah, the last day of finals.
Okay. If you're having issues with the UI online website, you can try to reload the page. You can also try clearing your cache or deleting your cookies. I don't know what those words mean, but I know other people do. So make sure to clear your cache and your browser cookies. And the last resort, you can file over the phone. Another faculty member from the Los Rios Federation also told us that he had success in faxing his application. If you can believe that, in 2021, faxing your application will get someone to take action within 24 hours, he told me. His application was done and he was able to get his benefits. So take it as you will. I know the phone lines have been off the hook at EDD for a long time, so I would try the faxing portion. Okay, so if you're asked to complete an eligibility interview, make sure to keep your application handy. Again, they're not doing a lot of these because of COVID and just the sheer amount of applications that they've gotten. But if you're asked to have an interview, make sure to keep all the documentation that you have handy. The EDD officer will try to verify the information that you provided on your application. Also keep your responses short and only answer the questions that they have for you. Don't elaborate. They don't need to know that it's summer break. They don't need to know it's a recess period or it's spring break or whatever. They need to know that your assignment has been completed and you have no guaranteed assurance of continued appointment because of funding, enrollment, and program changes. So I say that because we want to remember the Cervisi decision. So according to the Cervisi decision, all part-time faculty are considered contingent because their classes could be taken away at any time due to what, folks? Enrollment, funding, and program changes. So even if your name is on the schedule for next semester, even if your chair has told you have a class, even if your name appears on this, even if you've gotten a letter, you can still go ahead and apply and you still have no reassurance of continued appointment. Lastly, remember there are no recess periods or breaks or summer breaks for you all. As adjunct faculty, you are laid off at the end of the semester and you have no reasonable assurance. So again, on those fun notes, we're going to continue to quickly talk about the appeals process. So some folks, have had to deal with this process, so we want to make sure that you all know. If EDD denies your claim, you can always appeal it. The Employment Development Department is a bureaucracy, and bureaucracies love processes. So if you file an appeal, you'll be required to go before an administrative law judge to discuss your situation. Make sure you bring your application, your decision letter, and remember the Servisi decision. Sometimes EDD officers don't quite understand education. Most times, actually, they don't understand education. So sometimes when your claim is flagged or you have an interview and or you have to go through the appeals process, once you tell the judge, I'm an adjunct faculty member with no guaranteed assurance of continued appointment, and you let them know about the Servisi decision, they pretty much understand and continue on with your claim. We also want to give you some tips about the EDD debit card. You can always set up regular transfers from your debit card to your personal bank account once you get it. You need to be extra careful with that debit card though, because it doesn't include a security chip, which means that it's vulnerable. So you don't want to try to use it at, a gas station or somewhere where you may not need where you may just swipe your card, but may not need a PIN. If your debit card, if you have an account previous to the current account, you should keep all of your cards with you, because sometimes what EDD does is, even though they've issued you a new card, they'll put your benefit on the old card. So just keep track of where your benefit is going, and just keep all of those cards with you. So now we want to cover some common problems workers have experienced in getting their claims. In many cases, your problem can be resolved by just filing a new claim. In the case, if you see that your biweekly certification is stuck on pending, or you've received a 0 benefit award, those both indicate that you may have reached the end of your benefit year, because your claim is good for a whole 12 months. So you'll need to open a new claim if that's something that you've been experiencing. So then next, what about if you're, what about if you open a new claim? You can become, hold on a second, be on the lookout for a new customer number. One more slide after that, Jess. Yeah, there you go. So, so you're gonna have, if you do open up a new claim, look out for a new number, but make sure you monitor both your accounts and both cards. Workers have reported in social media that, like, sometimes, again, like, they're putting money or other things into one account and providing you different information on other accounts. So just make sure that you're on top of it and you know which one you're looking at and what's happening. What if your claim is expired, but you have received a letter saying that it's been extended? Make sure that you confirm that you still have benefits for that year. EDD has posted in every online venue possible that people need to fill out a new claim if they have reached the end of their benefit year. That's why, that's what will activate your additional week of benefit through the PEUC or the Fed Ed. So I know that we've shared a lot of information with you all, so let's summarize with taking some important steps to figure out, like, the workflow, right? So fill out your application on UI. EDD will then determine if you are eligible for all of these beautiful acronyms. So the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, Pandemic Employment, what is the other one? PEUC or Fed Ed, and notify you of your award. Continue recertifying your claim. The EDD will place you in the next level or the next category of benefits if your UI benefits run out. So you don't have to do anything, but make sure to recertify. That's especially important this year. I know that some part-time faculty are used to, once they get a class or once they start teaching again, they no longer certify because that was the old system. Like, you don't call me, I don't give you money, right? But now they ask you to recertify for every single week. So you may even, if you haven't been doing so, you may have to go back and recertify for previous weeks. So just make sure that moving forward, you're recertifying your claim every single week. Yeah, continue to recertify your claim to make sure that you're able to go. And then lastly, stop recertifying your claim once you are employed. So in the recertification form, there's a tiny, tiny little checkbox all the way at the end that the wording is very confusing. It says, I have found full-time employment and or no longer need UI benefits. If you start teaching and or find other work and you are making more than $450 a week, you should check that box, because that's the maximum that is awarded through unemployment benefits. So you would not get an award anymore. And you check that box so that your application could be triggered to kind of hibernate until you need it again. If you don't check that box, it's going to ask you to continue to verify your employment status, even though you don't no longer need the benefit. Great. So these are a couple more resources that we're going to put into the chat. You all also will have access to this PowerPoint for more information. You all also can feel free to reach out to Jess and myself. We'll stick around again to answer questions. But I think that's our PowerPoint. Do we have any more slides, Jess? Oh, okay, right. So the biometric information. Oh, that's right. Okay. The biometric information. So there's some more information on that. There's also the EDD Twitter account. If you are someone that tweets, you can tweet at EDD. And then remember, EDD will never reach out to you via social media. Some scam companies or scammers may try to reach out to you that way. EDD will never contact you via social media. They can't even get a website going, so I can't imagine that they can find your social media account. But just make sure that you don't get scammed. Next.